topic is the human mind. Somewhere being your eyes. Right now, roughly 86 billion neurons are firing in patterns more complex than anything else we know of in the universe. And they are doing it so seamlessly that you never even notice the effort. To understand how it does all this, it helps to break the mind into its core behaviors, not as separate machines, but as one connected system, each part feeding the next. That's what this mind map plays out. Nine behaviors, one brain working together to run electricity into everything. We call it life of the mind. Let's go inside of our mind. Every second, the human brain processes millions of signals, sound, light, touch, memory, emotion, and turn them into a single seamless experience. At the center of every experience is the mind itself. Radiating outward from it are nine behaviors that together define how a human being engages with the world. Perception and focus brings information in observation, and learning sharpen and refine its memory stored for later use. Perception is the brain's entry point to reality. Every movement, the eyes, ears, skin, nose, and tongue collects raw physical signals, light waves, and air vibrations, pressure, chemical particles, and convert them into electrical impulses. These impulses first travel to the thalamus, often called the brain's relay station. At any given moment, the brain is bombarded with far more sensory information that it can be more conscious process. Focus is the mechanism that solves this problem, a kind of internet spotlight controlled largely by the prefrontal cortex that selects which signal deserve full attention and which get pushed to the background. This filtering is not passive, it's an active, effortful process that consumes the real mental energy. Observation goes a step beyond ordinary perception. Where perception happens automatically and continuously, observation is deliberate, a continuous conscious decision to look closer, scan more carefully, and notice detail that would otherwise pass by unregistered. It draws heavily on the visual cortex and parietal lobe, which work together to direct visual scanning and spatial awareness. Learning is the process happens in the brain physically, changing itself in response to experience, a property known as neuroplasticity. Every time you practice a skill or encountering new information, sympathetic connections between neurons are formed or strengthened through a process called long-term potentiation. Essentially, neurons that fight together wire together. Memory is not a single system, but several working together. Short-term memory holds a small amount of information, a phone number, a sentence, for seconds to minutes, largely through active attention. Long-term memory, by contrast, can last a lifetime and its formation depends heavily on the hippocampus, while conscious experience during both walking, rest, and sleep and before distributing them across networks in the cortex for permanent storage. Thinking is the brain's most flexible capability, the ability to hold information in mind, manipulate it, and generate something new from it. The prefrontal cortex acts as the command center for this process, managing reasoning, planning, and problem solving. Working memory, a limited mental workspace, temporarily holds piece of information so they can be compared, combined, and tested against each other. Thinking is not purely logical. Tough, the brain constantly balances slow, deliberate reasoning with fast intuition judgment, drawing this. Consciousness remains one of the neuroscience great open questions, but the leading theories agree it emerges from integration, not from single seat in the brain. The global workspace theory suggests that consciousness is the information is processed widely enough across many brain regions simultaneously. It broadcasts into conscious awareness, while unprocessed or narrowly processed information stays unconscious. The integration appears linked to synchronized flooding patterns across distant brain regions. Action is where brain's internal world meets the external one. Once a decision or internal forms, the motor cortex translates it into a precise sequence of signals sent down the spinal cord to the muscles. The basal ganglia, a cluster of the structure deep in the brain, refine and sequence these movements, smoothing them into coordinated, purposeful motion rather than jerky, disconnected impulses. Wisdom is arguable the brain's slowest build, longest lasting achievement. Unlike raw intelligence, which can be measured of quick problem solving, wisdom emerges from years of integrating memory, emotional experience, and reflection. Neuroscientists point to a balance between the prefrontal cortex, responsible for reasoning and impulse control, and the brain's limbic, and they also known as emotional centers as to key sound judgment. Perception feeds focus. Focus enables deeper learning. Learning builds memory. Memory informs thinking. Thinking shapes consciousness. Experience and drives action. And across a lifetime, all of it sensed, focused, remembered through thought, and acted upon, slowly integrated into wisdom. These nine behaviors are not separate systems, they are one continuous part working for our lifetime in our brain, simply in our mind, continuously till to our death. Thank you.